Alright, now that this is the Sith Absolute, and we deal in absolutes, and we go into the Sith lore, and we embrace the dark side. I even have the Sith book. It's hard to see right now, but that's the Sith book right there that Frank is holding. We need to learn more about Sith lore and more about Sith. And one of the things that we're going to look into is one of my favorite Siths, Darth Malgus. Now, this video is about why Darth Malgus is one of the least evil Sith in galactic history. Least evil. Now, we've seen Sith who are insanely evil. You know what I mean? Not every Sith is evil, you know? We don't... Evil is a relative term depending on your perspective. But this is by the stupendous way. We're going to see why Malgus is probably one of the least evil Sith, apparently, in history. And to be honest, he's strong. He's powerful. He can take anyone on. But, you know what? He's got a point. Look at him, he's not exactly evil depending on what we define what evil is. But let's find out what this guy's talking about our boy, Darth Malgus. Make sure you check out the original video in the description down below. Make sure you check out my Twitch so you can see my streams when my streams come out. And get this video a like, subscribe, and notification bell. Let's do this.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Darth Malgus, let's go.
The Sith are many things.
Yep.
They're conquerors, deceivers, destroyers, avatars of chaos. Throughout galactic history, their names have echoed through ages as warnings, as power corrupted by ambition. But among those dark figures, there exists one Sith Lord whose name stands apart. A man who, while very far from good, was equally far from being pure evil, especially for someone who belonged to an order that seemingly demands it. Darth Malgus, the enforcer of the Sith Empire during the Old Republic, was a force of destruction on the battlefield. He sacked Coruscant, brought the Republic to its knees, and wielded the dark side with unmatched power.
Absolutely.
Yet, behind his devastating conquests lay a deep code of honor. Malgus possessed a unique philosophy for a Sith, one that elevated him above the petty betrayals and selfish greed of others. Today, we will dive into the life and the ethics of Darth Malgus, a Sith who believed in progress above all. He was a conqueror, but one who sought the success of a greater cause rather than for personal gain. This made him both dangerous and strangely fascinating, an anomaly among the Sith Order. But before we get into it, and break down why I think Malgus was actually one of the least evil Sith in all of the lore, it would help the archives out a great deal if you could leave a like. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. It is
Just
your
look at this. I'm like, look at this man. This, like, the fit, dog. The fit. I know they were trying to make it into, like, a Vader-style fit, but, bro, I'm telling you, Malgus just looks the part, dude, of a Sith soldier, a commander, dude, the one that leads his troops into battle for conquering for the Empire. Say for their Sith Empire, dude. That's what I'm saying. He demands loyalty and respect. Look at this man. I see no betrayal in that man.
Destiny. The archives would be honored with your enrollment. Malgus was far from typical. To understand what made him unique, we must first acknowledge what he was not. Most Sith Lords are driven by an insatiable greed, a lust for power, or a blind hatred for themselves or others. They build their empires not out of a vision for the galaxy, but out of satisfaction for their ego. The Sith Code, with its promise of freedom through strength, often serves as an excuse for the Sith to act without restraint, indulging in their darkest impulses in the name of progression. Malgus, however, stood apart from this. Darth Malgus did not see the Sith as a means for an excuse for personal indulgence, but as a mechanism for galactic progress. Malgus believed in the Empire, not because it gave him power, but because he saw it as the galaxy's inevitable and rightful future. Where other Sith used the dark side to tear down, to dominate for themselves, Malgus truthfully wielded it with purpose. He was ruthless, but his actions were calculated, aimed at advancing the cause of a stronger, unified galaxy. This perspective made him rare. It also made him dangerous, though. Not because he was the most evil, but because he was one of the most focused. But Malgus also had a different code, one beyond the Sith, a code of honor. One that elevated him above the treachery and backstabbing that is so common for the Sith Empire. First and foremost, Malgus respected strength. To him, the galaxy was not about light or dark, strict binaries, good or evil. It was about one's power and their merit. Those who demonstrated courage and skill earned his respect, whether they were his enemies or his allies, Jedi or Sith. He judged individuals not by their allegiance, their species, or their status, but by their abilities. This set him apart from the rest of the galaxy, a galaxy divided by prejudice and politics. Malgus didn't believe in these things inherently. He believed in progress being the ultimate. Malgus's sense of honor even
I am voting for him as Emperor. All right, he's got to. You know what? If anyone has played SWTOR, Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO game, you know a lot about You should know a lot about Malgus and the fact that in the game there is a part where he tries to create a new empire because he sees the old Sith Empire as falling in their ways because he's right. A lot of the Sith are very selfish, self-centered, driven, and it basically, that's how the Empire fell because of how they were. Malgus had an idea where he was going to try and progress and see people at their strength rather than their ideals. And I think it's phenomenal. I think it's great. I think that he's a peak of what a Sith can be, to be honest. That's why I could see him as the new Sith Emperor. That would be him. Just phenomenal. Let me know if you all have a different opinion about him, but that's why I think I'd say he is my favorite Sith because he's the definition of a balanced Sith who sees more about how you can progress through your strength, through loyalty, through a good balanced system rather than just through political BS and through just power hungry ego-centered perspectives. Man, I'm voting for you, man.
Extended into combat. He often despised cowardice and treachery, even among his own kind. In the sacking of Coruscant for a brief moment, Malgus even considered turning his blade against his fellow Sith warriors. He believed that they too needed to be purged from the galaxy, but of course not before the Jedi. Malgus valued direct confrontation. He saw the battlefield as a sacred place where strength could be proven without the need for deceit. He called the battlefield his instrument. Unlike many Sith, who thrived on manipulation and betrayal, Malgus believed in victory through power and superior strategy.
Let's go.
But this code was not born out of compassion. It was born of pragmatism. Malgus believed the Sith Empire could only succeed if they rejected the infighting and chaos that defined it. To Malgus, betrayal weakened the Sith, and he held this fellow Sith in contempt for their inability to prioritize the greater good over petty ambitions. The dark side is often associated with corruption and excess, with its users succumbing to their own emotions and desires. But Malgus was different. His connection to the dark side was pure, not pure in the sense of morality, but in its disciplined application. He channeled his anger and passion into direct power, but he did not let these emotions control him as it does many other Sith. While other Sith are consumed by their hatred, Malgus used his hatred as a tool. His mastery of the dark side wasn't about indulgence or destruction for its own sake. It was about achieving results. In that way, Malgus stood as a stark contrast to the chaotic, self-destructive nature of many Sith. Malgus was, in every sense of the word, a conqueror.
I'm sorry, I got to stop that. Those cinematic fights that they did when they do the cinematics for Star Wars: The Old Republic is some of the best lightsaber fights I've seen in a long time. They do a phenomenal job. Whoever did the cinematics for SWTOR, you need to give this people a budget to make some type of a Star Wars series, or like an animated series like that. I would love to see something like that. Just phenomenal. Hire this. Whoever this guy, hire this guy. Disney. We're literally feeding you things that people are going to enjoy, and yet you still won't take it. I don't understand. It's literally right there. Look, he's right there. Money, right there. Just money, right there. All right, cash, right there. Disney's like, no, we don't want to do that. We'll keep losing money.
Conquests were not driven by a thirst for dominance or even cruelty. They were driven by a need for progress. For Malgus, the dark side was not just a means of achieving personal power, it was a raw force to reshape the galaxy into something greater. Malgus's commitment to his ideals came at a personal cost though. His relationship with Alina Daru, a Twi'lek woman who served as both his lover and companion. This revealed a more human side to Malgus. This was rare in a galaxy where the Sith looked down on love as weakness. But Malgus embraced his feelings for Alina, valuing her loyalty and companionship. But even this connection could not stand in the way of his unified vision. When he began to believe that his attachment was threatening his focus, he made the sacrifice, and he murdered her. In doing that, Malgus proved his willingness to put the success of the Empire above any of his own personal desires. This act was—
The man literally chose his goals, his priorities, his future, his actual goals than the girl, dude. That's insane. That is the definition of, alpha, sigma, man, whatever y'all want to call it. This guy, he's like, listen, man, I'm getting too close to you, girl. I'm sorry. You gotta go. You gotta go. The goals I have are so huge, so big. It's peak. That you gotta die. I'm sorry. You're distracting me, bro. I'm just saying. Favorite Sith. 10 out of 10 favorite Sith. Prove me wrong.
Was not born out of malice, but out of a belief that progress required a deep sacrifice. It was a chilling demonstration of his commitment to his code. Malgus was not a hero, but he wasn't purely evil either. He was a man who believed in the strength of the Empire above all else, even at the expense of his own heart. So did he grow beyond good or evil? His philosophy was one of pragmatism and of meritocracy. Malgus rejected the binary notions of good or evil defined by the Jedi and the Sith. To Malgus, they were distractions of a true goal, the creation of a stronger galaxy. He said that the Jedi clung to their rigid moral code, the Sith wallowed in selfish ambition. But Malgus stood apart as a figure of purpose. He saw the galaxy's flaws. He sought to correct them. Not for personal gain, but for the greater good of the Empire. To Malgus, the ends justified the means, even if those means involved war, death, and destruction. To Malgus, at least he believed war was fair, or at least the battlefield was fair. This is what made him unique. Malgus was not a hero. He has committed countless atrocities in the name of his empire, but he was also not the mindless monster that so many Sith became. Malgus was in between, a man of vision and purpose, unbound by the petty squabbles of good and evil, at least to him. But Malgus was obviously very far from a good man. His name is etched into history as a destroyer, a conqueror, an agent of chaos. But among the Sith, he was a rarity. He saw beyond himself, valuing the success of a greater goal over personal ambition. He used the dark side with a discipline that is rare, channeling its power not for indulgence, but for pure progress. Malgus was one of the least evil Sith Lords, but that does not mean he was good. He had a code of honor, he had respect for strength, and his desire for a unified galaxy makes him fascinating and equal parts terrifying. He was a conqueror with purpose, a Sith who used the dark side in its purest form. And in his own way, that makes him one of the most dangerous figures in galactic history. The legacy of Malgus reminds us that even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, there are always shades of complexity. Malgus was not purely evil, but his vision of progress came at an unimaginable cost. For Malgus, it was not about good or evil, it was about reshaping the galaxy, no matter the cost. But what are your thoughts on the rare kind of Sith that—
You know what? I know we're finishing up this video, but you know his philosophy reminds me of? Thanos' philosophy. Because a lot of people, like, Thanos' perspective is not good or evil. It's more like, how can I keep the galaxy alive without it going to extinction? And his own philosophy seems to be, I have to kill half the universe. Now, Malgus is different. Malgus is more like, hey, I need to progress, I need to fight battles, I need to conquer. My vision of the galaxy is about having some type of, I guess, balance to some degree, but more about showing the strength of people, like, through power and strength, you know, and things like that, but not for selfish gain, but more progress, making the galaxy a stronger place. So In some degree, it's that, but I think this is phenomenal.
It was Darth Malgus. His code of honor. Was he a rarity, a visionary among the Sith, or simply another instrument for destruction? Did he lie to himself? Let us know your thoughts. Let the Force guide you to the answer.
Wow. There you go. I would say now, you know what? Here you go. Favorite Sith. 10 out of 10. Top tier Sith. All right. I agree with his vision. I think that is basically probably what the best thing for a Sith to do is to follow this man's philosophy and everything like that. Because a lot of other Sith, you know, he's right. A lot of Sith lose because of their own personal selfish gain, where they just want to just kill so many people. They want to just wipe out the entire galaxy for their own power and personal gain, but they don't think about progress. They don't think about the future. They don't think about what's next for the galaxy. You know what I mean? This guy thinks about the philosophy and the future of the galaxy. Like, how can I make this galaxy stronger so it can survive? And if I have to do it through battling, through conquering, through this stuff, I'm going to do it to make sure that this galaxy is strong enough, secure enough to take on any type of threat. 10 out of 10 Sith. Let me know if you have a favorite Sith and their philosophy. Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this one, let me know. I like it. I'm pretty sure he is now my favorite Sith of all time. Prove me wrong. I've always been Darth Vader's always been my favorite, but I think I am pushing towards him now. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the Sith Absolute. We deal in absolutes. Peace.